around the sewer, looked at it, and he thought it was just hung up in a loop. We were on the internet, we closed it down and shut it down and started back up, same old thing. And so yesterday I got an extra, we got a spare downstairs. And I called, I guess, the repairman and all that. But anyhow, I took the spare home and set up these events. Then I bring my old computer in here today and it works. It's just like something, a loop or something was broke just because I was able to get into it from another computer. But anyway, it's working. A few people have not taken the test. We've got Carson over here taking it now. Haley's going to take it at 2 o'clock. How about you, Sydney?
I can go to your room.
What?
Can I do it around like 3?
Today? What are you doing, Serene? You been working out this morning?
No, I'm sunburned. I don't do well out in the sun, and we've been playing softball like crazy.
Sun or wind burn? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought he was ready to have a stroke. Anyhow, you'll be here at 3 o'clock today. Okay, I'll leave at about 3:15, but come and take it at 3. I'll take you down the second trip.
Okay.
Watch over you, okay? So, all right, Jonathan, what do you think about this test? Did the ratio page on the ratio? Cole, did the page of notes help on anything? Didn't help on cash flow?
Not too much.
Okay. Tanner, you took it, didn't you?
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
We'll see.
Greg, what do you think about it? No, nobody's going to see their grades. Well, number one, everybody hadn't taken the test yet. Number two, it was pretty bad. Pretty bad. And we're taking something to compensate for it. But everybody take the test first. And there was a couple of surprises on the test. A couple of grades maybe wonder. And a couple of grades should have been better. So there was some surprises. But we're going to forget about it and go on to managerial accounting, which is the next chapter. And I asked you to read that today. Now, as far as test grades, you know, you got to drop test grade. Sydney?
So do we still get extra, like, I remember a couple weeks ago, you said that we got extra credit, like 2 points for every day we were in class.
Yes.
So that's still thinking.
I'll still do that. And we took up a bonus or 2 and so forth, okay? But yeah, all that's still good. All right, we've got to cover at least chapter 18, 19, maybe 20, but today is April the what? April the what?
24.
All right. Now, next 6 days Tuesday, Thursday will be April the 26th, right? Then what will next Tuesday be? Saturday is the 28th, I think, Sunday the 29th, Monday. Okay, won't the next Tuesday be May the 1st? And then the next Thursday, which is next week, will be May, probably the 3rd. When do exams start?
The 7th.
So that month, so we got this week, 2 days, and next week, 2 days to do no less than 2 chapters, no more than 3. So these chapters are probably easy though. And hopefully, I'd like to have one day to go back and review those last 3 chapters because those grades were so bad. Okay. But anyway, we're going to look at some PowerPoint this morning on we've been studying financial accounting up to chapter 16. 17. And now we're gonna look at managerial accounting. Now, back in the early chapters of principles, we had a service business. And we had a retail business. And we had partnerships, then we had corporations. Now, your last test was just standalone chapters on ratio analysis and on cash flow, which is the fourth statement. Then there was one chapter on investing in other companies. All right, that brings us up to a couple of 3 chapters on managerial. All right, service business, a retail business, now a manufacturing business. Now, we know some of the biggest companies in the world are manufacturing businesses. We know that Walmart's one of the biggest retail businesses in the world, right? And some of your big accounting firms, their partnerships, are service business. And there's some pretty big service business, banks, a service. Well, hey, now we got a manufacturing business. We know that General Motors manufactures cars. We know that Goodyear manufactures tires. We know that GE manufactures appliances. And we know all your TVs and all your cell phones are manufactured in Japan. Samsung. Who's got a Samsung? Well, somebody here's got a Samsung cell phone, don't you? Who's got Apples? Who's got an Apple cell phone? Okay, everybody's got Apple. Sydney, you got a cell phone?
No.
All right, but everybody here has Apples. Okay, no Samsung. Okay, I think Samsung is sold to Galaxy or something like that. But anyhow, manufacturing companies. Are there any manufacturing companies that you know of around Bluefield? Is there anything made around Bluefield? Do you have a Pepsi plant or a Coca-Cola bottling plant anywhere? You do or don't? I think there's a Pepsi or Coca-Cola bottling plant they do. That's making something, okay? Even if you bottle water, you're putting a product together. All right, now, construction is considered manufacturing. If you see a home being built, that's manufacturing. If we ever see this dorm over here built, that'll be manufacturing. They're raising money for the dorm. Sydney, what's your opinion on Bluefield State having a dorm?
I feel like for athletes, like they also been talking about doing a meal plan with it. So if they actually put that in, that would
Be helpful to have.
because I mean, I'm living at our Motel 6 dorms right now. And it is very hard to tell. There's no kitchen or anything. So it's always.
Do you live out of Bates Motel?
Yep.
All right, it's not Bates Motel. Okay, y'all know what it is. It's where a lot of our international students stay too, isn't it? And most of them are athletes, of course, but not all of them. Yeah, it would definitely help athletes to have a dorm.
And then, I mean, they're right here on campus, so a lot of those kids don't have cars. I mean, we have the bus, but then it only runs every whatever time. So being on campus would be a lot more.
Well, as far as international students, a lot of them don't have driver's license. A couple of them got driver's license, and a couple of them have got cars. One, I guess Philippines is still considered international. I had a young lady 3 years ago from the Philippines. She was a big help in Biden. She worked for Dr. Bourne a while. And I got a message from her. I had to email her back. She passed all parts of her CPA. So she's now a CPA and she's had a couple of years experience. So she's second or third one that's passed in the last 2 or 3 years. But she's in Roanoke now, and I'm sure she's making a good salary or whatever she's doing. But, yeah, I think the dorm would help in those aspects. All right, but that will be construction. If you're building part of a highway, that's manufactured something. If you're putting in a new road, you're building a new building, a dorm, apartment building, a house, whatever, that is manufacturing accounting. That is managerial. But managerial, the reason we throw the word managerial in there, from a manager's perspective, and you'll have a whole course in managerial. I know even the nursing students, so on and so forth, has to take managerial accounting. All right, so managerial accounting is making something, and it's reports for, of course, managers. Now, financial statements have to follow GAAP. Managerial accounting does not have to prepare, don't have to go by GAAP, and they report to the management. All right. But now financial accounting, we worry about the shareholders, the creditors, government agencies, and the general public, and they follow GAAP, as I mentioned. But in managerial accounting, it meets the needs of the company. It looks at all your data. And management uses both types of information to plan, direct, develop. They do not have to follow GAAP. They're prepared monthly, quarterly, annual. All right, here's an organizational chart you would have seen. This is management. The CEO, all your vice presidents report to him. That's like our president. She was at one of our meetings yesterday, and 2 or 3 of our vice presidents. The vice president of instruction was there. The vice president of admission or student services was not there, and then our financial vice president was not there. And you go on down up here from presidents, a couple of deans were there. So you've got deans, and then you've got faculty, and then you've got classified staff down here. But it's just an organizational chart. Line staff, you got those words. And management, I hope. Line department, a staff department. I'm not too much concerned about those. Controller might be the same as the chief financial officer. I guess I turned down a job one time as a controller, and I don't know how that would have worked out. It was for a mining company, and they had their own kitchen. They said they would prepare me whatever meal I wanted every day. I would have been over data processing, all accounting, and at that time they owned World Book Encyclopedia, and in Cincinnati, the World Book Encyclopedia had a stake in the mining company. That's what it was. And they said they'd take the company helicopter anytime I wanted to go to a Cincinnati ball game. They'd fly me to Cincinnati. They offered me all kinds of perks to become controller of that company. I turned it down and stayed in teaching. So you never know how things like that would have worked out. But anyway, a controller is over system, procedure, general accounting, budgets, special reports, taxes, and of course, cost accounting. And cost accounting and managerial are almost one and the same. And you've seen these terms in management, planning, directing, controlling, improving decision making. Strategic planning, which is developing long-term actions to achieve the company's objective. Operational planning, which develops short-term. Now that dorm is strategic planning by the college because it's long-term. But the School of Business is going to try to hire a entrepreneur instructor for entrepreneur program that we have. And that is short-term operations. Directing. Faculty members give you all a lot of direction. When to take a test, what to do for homework, and so And some students rebel against having any kind of directions. Okay. Jonathan, are you a millennium person, or who is a millennium? They're born when?
I don't know the exact date.
Gosh, I don't know either. Was it after year 2000? Or was it a little bit before 2000, I guess, wasn't it? I guess all of you are millennium. Okay. All right. Controlling. Well, I'm not worried too much about these terms. You can read these things. All right, now with two terms, they could pop up on a test, direct cost and indirect cost. Now, if we do build that dorm over here, what do you think will be some of the direct cost? We build that dorm, what will be some of the direct cost? Any idea? Now this is where we should go to your textbook. What page are we on, Molly? Direct cost and indirect cost. All right, if you would turn your books to page 891.
Did anybody turn my book to you?
Did not see it, dear. You ever did find it?
I know I left it in the
You were taking your test right here, right?
And I left it, I set it either in the seat or like below the desk and Laura was going to sit behind me.
Okay. Well, do you know who was sitting behind you?
Boris,
Did you talk to him?
I messaged him, but he never responded back to me if he had grabbed it by mistake or not.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So I don't know. I know you came here looking for it, but it didn't sit, so you had to sit somebody else come in. The only person that would need that book is somebody in accounting. All right. Haley, you don't have a book?
I do, but it's not, I don't have to.
Yeah, you have a book? Donna, could you let Maya borrow your book? And her and Haley can look at it? Okay. Okay, we're in good shape now. All right, direct cost. If we're building that dorm, would be the direct materials, wood, and concrete, and steel, and whatever else is going in it. Even bathroom fixtures. And direct labor, the person working on it. All right, some indirect costs would be the supervisor. It's not working on it, but they're supervising the project. Indirect materials like grease and oil for the machinery and equipment. And you have factory overhead, which is indirect, and factory overhead is taxes, depreciation, rent. All right, we're making a guitar. And you know wood here is a direct cost. And looks like strings would be a direct cost. And these keys would be a direct cost. All right, your production supervisor, he's not working on that. So he's indirect cost. He's factory overhead. All right, and your labor is direct cost. Your indirect cost may not be traceable. Some items we can trace, some we can't. All right, so here's your three costs. And I want you to know those: materials, labor, overhead. Okay. Know a little bit about manufacturing and accounting. You cannot give a decent bid on a project or a product. All right, materials, labor, overhead. All right, you want to build a house. Hannah, you want to build a house. How do you find out the cost of your materials? Would a contractor know? Now, a contractor, if you hire a contractor, he may know the cost of labor, of course. Let's say it's going to take him $50,000 to build your house. All right. You can take your floor plan or your architect plan or whatever plan you got, and you can go to Lowe's or Home Depot, and let's say your materials cost $75,000. Remember, you got your land and everything else in here. You're already up to $125,000. Well, the contractor ought to know what his overhead is, his taxes, his depreciation, his equipment, and let's say that was $25,000. All right, now he may count a profit in there, and he might build this house for you for $175,000. Well, you've got your land, you're going to do septic and sewers and all that, water, wells if you're out in the country. So he can give you a proper bid on a house, but he's got to know materials, labor, and overhead. All right, materials, labor, and overhead. Direct materials. All right. Have any of you been on the highway and you passed construction in the recent few days? Have you went by construction in the last few days? All right. Now, what would be some direct materials that they're using on that highway?
Like the machinery they have out there?
No, material down. What are some direct materials they use on that highway? Well, they're starting from fresh. They're using gravels and asphalt and so on. Of course, they got a lot of repairs going on. But now, direct labor is the people you see working the machinery or using the shovel. Now, the indirect labor is the flag people and the surveyors and the supervisors or the foreman. They're not working on the road, they're just there to observe. All right? And factory overhead would be grease and oil for those machineries and equipment on the highway, and paying the payroll taxes, depreciation on that machinery, always factory overhead. Now, have any of y'all ever made anything for sale? Like Tamarack up here has all these goodies that West Virginians make. Haley, have you been in Tamarack? Okay. They go West Virginia, make all kinds of stuff, whether it's wood or whether it's canned stuff, whatever. Have any of y'all ever made anything? Have you made anything, Cole?
Not like Lego.
But, you know, if you've been to an arts and crafts fair, I know you've been to one of those. Those people make things. It takes materials, labor, and overhead. They price them. Now, a lot of them know what the materials cost. They're maybe wanting to make $10, $15, $20 an hour for labor. Their overhead, they don't know what their overhead is. You know, their gas to get to those arts and crafts fair. The rental spot. Maybe they have to get a motel. Maybe they had to have certain little items, greases and oils and threads and so on, that they have this overhead. Now, you can get a quilt, you can probably go to Penny's or Sears or somewhere and buy a quilt for your bed for less than $100. But what do those handmade quilts cost up at Tamarack? What's a lot? Some of them cost $500-600 for a quilt, handmade quilt. You use less machinery and more manpower. All right, so materials, labor, and overhead. So, the cost of wood used to produce a guitar, the electronic components in a TV, silicone wafers for microchip computers, tires for an automobile, all are direct materials. So, does your tables have direct materials? Does your calculator, does a calculator or a camera? All right, what are your direct materials for a cell phone? This is direct materials, right? What do y'all see on the back of this cell phone? What?
A camera.
No. You see that apple? What's wrong with that apple? There's something wrong with that apple? Okay, this is also, has not a bite been taken out of it? Has a bite been taken out of it? I don't know how many of you know the Bible, but the first book of the Bible, all right? Many of you know about Adam and Eve. Did Eve get Adam to take a bite out of an apple? All right. There is a big comparison here, but I'm not going to go into it. Anyway, the direct materials. You've got a lot of computer chips in here. You've got, I guess, some hard plastic and so on. And you've got the cover, which is made out of some kind of plastic, whatever. The direct materials. What's the direct materials for your book? What's the direct materials? Hey, maybe some plastic, glues, thread, or whatever they put it, bind it together with. So, well, we got direct materials in every product we have. Okay. Now, direct labor. The wages of an employee who cut the guitar out. Mechanics' wages for repairing an automobile. Machine operators' wages for manufacturing tools. Assembly wages for assembling a laptop computer. Now, we get overhead. For your textbook, you've got press operator. Right? Press operator. Produce your textbook. But for overhead, we've got heating and lighting, repair and maintenance, property taxes, insurance, depreciation. That's just a few. Indirect labor and indirect materials. All right. Leather used to make a baseball glove. They call it DM. Coolants for machines that sold baseball gloves. Coolant is factory overhead. Wages of assembly worker is direct labor. Ink used to print a player's autograph on a glove, factory overhead. Now, let's go to the end of your chapter, 18. All right, I want you to go to page 909. I want to do exercise 18-1 real quick. All you gotta do is tell if it's direct materials, direct labor, or overhead. Do the same thing for exercise 2. Take a second, do exercise 1 and 2. You at home do the same thing.
You said 18-1?
Yeah, 18-1. Do that 18-1 real quick and 18-2 if you have time.
All right.
Okay, folks, let's look at those. We should have something. Okay, starting with you, Cole. Wheels. What do you think that is? Direct materials, labor, overhead. Why, sure. And Jonathan, how about glass used in a vehicle's windshield? Definitely. And Haley, how about wages of assembly line workers? Direct labor. And Maya, how about depreciation? No, V8 automobile engine. Direct material. You can't run that car without it. And Taylor, how about depreciation of the assembly line? Yes. How about a steering wheel, Sydney?
Direct material.
Yeah, need that steering wheel on a car. All right, and Monica, how about printed safety masks for employees, or painted safety masks for employees working on the paint? Factory overhead, yeah, it's not labor and it's not material, so it has to be factory overhead, yes. How about salary of a test driver? He's not working on it, and it's not material, so it has to be overhead. He's indirect. But now, I mentioned that cars that had to have a steering wheel. You do know they're making cars that will drive themselves now, don't you? And with all these GPSs on the sides and the fronts and the back, you know, they put all that together with, I guess, crews and all that, and it will drive itself. But didn't one have an accident a couple of months back? One that's supposed to drive itself ran over a pedestrian or somebody. I think it did. It's supposed to drive itself and ran over somebody. So I don't know what came from that. Anyhow, I hope you all live long enough to see the age of the Jetsons when it comes to automobiles. Jonathan, did you ever watch the Jetsons on TV?
To be honest, I did.
Anybody ever watch the Jetsons? The old cartoon.
I know what it is, but I never.
Do you know what it is? It's where your cars fly above Earth. And they're all probably on GPS systems to take you there. So I think we will have that in the future to save land and highways. So now, how about that second little exercise? All right. Okay, resins used for a wash product. Now we're going to make soap or something. Direct materials, labor, overhead. All right, anybody? Materials, yes. B part. Scents and fragrances used in making soaps. Yes, scents would be. Plant manager salary for a plant. All right, you think of labor, yes, but it's indirect labor. If he is not working on the product, it is factory overhead. Indirect labor is factory overhead. Depreciation on the Auburn manufacturing plant. Depreciation on the Auburn manufacturing plant. Factory overhead. Depreciation on the assembly line, also factory overhead. Maintenance supplies would be also factory overhead. Packaging materials, which are a significant portion of the total product's cost. What would you say? packaging materials. Companies differed on that. I want to say direct materials. Now let's take a box of Cheerios. We know the main product is Cheerios, right? But you don't go to the grocery store and just scoop them out, put them in a bag. Like you might do with peanuts or some kind of nuts. They have to be boxed and bagged, don't they? So I've always wondered, is that box, plastic bag for a box of Cheerios, is that part of the product? Is that direct materials? Or is it something like indirect materials, and we call it factory overhead? But it has to be part of the cost of the product, no matter how a factory counts it. Now, I would hate to count it as advertising, okay? It will go into a different kind of cost. So packaging materials will take as product cost for the time being. Wages of a production line employee. An employee working on the assembly line would be what? Labor. Wages paid to a packaging department employee, probably overhead if he's just working in the packaging department. Salary of a process engineer. All right, now my next question. Have any of y'all ever toured a factory? What one did you tour, John? Did they take you there in high school?
It was for a club.
What club was it? That was good. That was real good. Did you tour that Volvo plane up here in West? Okay. I toured that plane also. I don't remember if it were college class or could have been deck. I taught the Student of Education at the time for 4 or 5 years. And we were competitive in Virginia. I like to win. Anyhow, if you tour a plane, which one did you tour? Same one? Anybody else tour a factory? If you tour a factory, you see the direct materials, the items going in to make one of those big Volvo trucks. And you probably see the labor, the people working on the assembly line. But if you see a foreman or a supervisor standing around, he is factory overhead because he's indirect labor. Okay. That's good that y'all got to tour a factory. What school were you in, Jonathan, that had DECA? Graham? Okay, well, you competed in Virginia then. Okay. I had a couple of state vice presidents way back when in DECA, and one of them became the assistant mayor of Radford and also State of Virginia Small Business Woman of the Year for a jewelry store. Her name was Ginger Rattler. And she was a poster child for DECA for a long time. Poster person. And at the time I taught School of Education, a fellow at Graham named Bob Gillenwater was the DE coordinator. So did you ever hear of him? He had retired and moved on. So just all these people in the teaching world didn't last as long as I did. I guess they're retired and gone. Okay, now I want you to look down at number 4. Look down at number 4. But before we look at number 4, we're going to scroll down to a couple more points. All right, prime cost. Which two of these are prime cost? To make a product, which two are prime cost? All right, now to take materials and convert it to a product, which two are conversion cost? Now, which one is included in both? Labor. Okay, so much for CC, conversion cost. If you see the letter CC, all right, labor is which one? The prime or conversion? Leather is materials. Is that prime or conversion? Coolants for machine that sews baseball gloves, prime or conversion? Wages of assembly line worker, both. Ink used to print a player's autograph, conversion. Now I want you to look at these two costs. A product cost is materials, labor, and overhead. Everything else is appearing cost. Advertising, selling, administrative. Now I want you to look at exercise 4. Take a minute and just put if it's, well, we can't put P's because P is for prime and for period. But put down if it's prime or period cost. Exercise 4. Exercise 4 in your text. Let's see. Got a picture. Do it again. If there wasn't, we'll put it in this second. I don't know if that was right.
Well, I didn't see it, but maybe, maybe I'll put it on that desk. I know my book is
Yeah, I remember seeing the book. So hopefully he picked it up and gave it to me. All right, prime and period. Product cost is materials, labor, and overhead. Period is everything else. All right, this was easy enough. Monique, we'll start with you. Cost of information technology for the corporate office. What do you think? A. Period cost. Yeah, that's administrative. All right, Sydney, depreciation on a sewing machine. Product cost, that is factory overhead. All right, and tell her how about fabric used during production. All right, material, sure it's product. How about depreciation on the office equipment, Maya? Office equipment is administrative. So that, be careful with that depreciation now. Sydney had B, depreciation on sewing machine, product cost. D is on the office equipment, so that is a period cost. Advertising, how about that one, Jonathan? Definitely a period cost to sell it. Repair and maintenance costs for sewing machines. What do you think of that one, Cole? Definitely. Factory overhead. Starting over again. Anybody? Salary of production quality control supervisor.
I put period. But I wasn't sure if that'd be a factory overhead or an administrative.
All right, now listen up on G, folks. Any factory may have an inspector. I worked at Chrysler Corporation in a factory in Michigan one summer. I worked on an assembly line. And I worked 10 hours a day, at least 6 days a week, sometimes 7. It was hard to give up a real good salary to go back to college, but I did. And I stayed there. I would have been probably the supervisor of that plant. That plant is still there. I know I had an Afro-American foreman. He came around one day and he says, "You're a damn good worker for a hillbilly." Now, I took that as a compliment. I was a good worker. Hillbilly, I had to pay attention to because Michiganders were hillbillies too if they were up North Michigan. But anyway, factory work is usually routine, even though they try to rotate you. But for 10 hours a day, I'd get a piece of metal back here with a couple of thongs. Prongs, not thongs. Oh, thongs, something else. A couple of prongs. You're not listening. Okay, a couple of prongs. I'd grab them. I'd put the metal here. So you wouldn't get your hands chopped off. You'd have to take both hands and press 2 buttons for a big metal press to come down on that metal. It either cut holes in it or it bent. And it kicked it out and it went on up to the next person. So imagine factory work 8 hours a day or 10 hours a day. Okay? You got breaks. So one time they put me on the head of the line and we met our quota. Quitting time was like 3:30. We met our quota by 2 o'clock. So we got to go sit in the lane. But never again would I try to meet quota because they brought a time and motion study person, time and motion study engineer. You may have read about time and motion studies in management. They brought him around and they upped the quota on us to meet production. So never again did we try to meet it. Okay. But at the end of our line, after we went through 7 or 8 press, there was a quality control person there to inspect it to see if it had any damage. And they are factory overhead. And Chrysler Corporation, they had nurses, that was factory overhead. They had maintenance workers, that was factory overhead. All right? Anything in that factory was factory overhead, unless it was direct labor or direct materials. But now working in a factory can be monotonous, but they did have music and the pay was really good. And after 3 more months, I'd be in union. And union pay went way up. All right. Going on down through here then. Utility costs for the office building. H. Now, you know, utility costs for office, that rings a bell. So what kind of cost is it? Period. All right. Sales commissions. Period. Sure, that's selling costs. Salaries of a distribution center. You got a warehouse, salary of the warehouse workers. Period cost. That's selling. Wages of a sewing machine operator. Product, direct wages. Factory janitorial wages. Product, indirect labor. Chief financial officer salary, CFO.
Period.
Yes, period, because it's home office. Direct cost of media relations, advertising.
Period.
Definitely period. Factory supervisor salary.
Product.
Definitely product, overhead. Oil used to lubricate a sewing machine. Product, it's definitely factory overhead. And how about property taxes on factory building? Product. As long as it says factory, it is product, whether it's materials, labor, overhead. If it says home office or selling or advertising, any of that is period cost. All right, so there you go, product and period cost. Okay. All right, was the test hard, Carson? Jonathan, how long did you study for the test?
2 hours.
Couple hours. All right, hopefully everybody studied more than that, but that's okay. I had one problem with that test too. Never know. But if I have a student that don't attend class, if I have a student that don't even have a book, if I have a student that never does any homework, if I have a student that never writes a summary of the videotapes, the only day I see that student is to take a test. They make the best grade. I don't think we have any geniuses in here. Okay? I make that test up a day or two before I give it to you. The only one that sees it is Michelle and me. I lock it away. Nobody can get that test. There's another way. I'll figure it out. Okay? How they can get a copy of the test. You know. So anyway, that's another point. That's a little bit of a problem. All right, so product cost is materials, labor, overhead. Period cost is selling administrative, office workers, office supplies, depreciation, advertising, sales, salaries, commission. So that little exercise we just did wraps it up. Product cost. You got period cost. And we went through this product and period cost enough, so we'll skip this example. Sustainability. Maximize profits while attempting to preserve the environment, the economy, and needs for future generations. A lot of our companies don't decide to do that. Preserve the environment, the economy, and needs of future generations. You know how coal mines have tore our mountains up. And they have messed up the environment. They used to have slate piles that were on fire messing up the environment. EPA made coal mines be more responsive and strip mining. to reclaim it, replane it, whatever. But a lot of businesses went in and made a quick profit, and they destroyed land, and then they got out. Okay. Sustainable business activity. There's ag, energy, engineering, transportation, waste, and we don't need to know about those. We need to know about the accounting part. Accounting Standard Board for Sustainability. Eco-efficient measures. All right. Now, the environment is a trade-off. We know that Taylor, why did West Virginians vote for Trump? Really? Carson, any idea? Maya knows. Coal mining. Trump was the one that left EPA regulations on coal mining, wasn't he? And he did. I don't know if West Virginia is workable or not, but the unemployment rate in West Virginia was bad. And I think we need to protect the environment, yes, but we also need jobs. So it's a trade-off sometimes. Yeah. Retained earnings, cash flow statements are the same. The balance sheet and income statement are about the same, except we do have a manufacturing statement. All right, we will do a manufacturing statement. Now, we have 3 inventories in a manufacturing business. We only have merchandise inventory in a retail. Here we have materials, work in process, and factory, finished goods. Now, we're going to learn to make entries for these items. And we're going to have to do a manufacturer statement and an income statement. So we got a lot to do right here. We got to do this cost of goods manufactured, okay? Now, assignments before other people have to leave. All right, let's do exercise 7, 10, 12. Trying to do 15. That's the manufacturer statement. 15 and 17 if you can. Those are exercises. All right, they are not problems. All right, I've got given a cost accounting test today, and I got some people anxious. All right, everybody in here got pre-registered, didn't they? Carson, you got pre-registered? Taylor, did you get pre-registered? Getting it today. Good, got to get that. Okay, so I'll see you all Thursday. Oh, come on in, Lindsay.
I was trying to get the test done early because, like, my boss is doing it. I don't know how to play, like, they don't get in the